Next question says, with guided programming, is it okay to switch the range of the pin press or block pulls to target a personal weakness? For example, can I replace mid-range pin press with low pin press to target the weakness off my chest? Sometimes. So, how's that for an ambiguous answer? With the bench, typically not. Um, Typically, you're going to want to keep the bench the same. The underlying assumption is that pretty much everybody is weak off the chest in the bench, or at least somewhere near the bottom portion. So if we're trying to target that weakness, then we're going to use chest level pin presses. If you need to adjust that a little bit, that's reasonable. But the mid-range pin presses are not there to target your weakness. The mid-range pin presses are there to provide an overload effect, a superloading effect. In the deadlift, it's a little bit different. The pin pulls the rack pulls are there for a combination of purposes. If you're weak off the floor, the rack pulls provide a superloading effect. If your weakness is at lockout, you don't really need much of a superloading effect anyway, but the pin pulls then provide a weak range of motion effect. So in those cases, again, you can adjust the height a little bit, but you don't want to start going wholesale in other directions. Usually we have rack pulls from mid-shin selected. Now the reason for that is that for most people that are weak at the lockout, that's what they need. And most people that are weak off the floor, that provides a ideal advantage. So if your weakness is a bit higher, that's fine. You can move it up from, say, mid-shin to bottom of the knee. And that's not the end of the world. That's not a huge change. But you don't want to go above the knee. And that's very rarely the problem spot for people anyway. So small changes are all right.